The following broadcast is brought to you by the iGolf Sports Network.
Golf Talk Live is sponsored by the iGolf Sports Network and Golf Tips Magazine. Here's Andrew to tell you more about our sponsors.
iGolf Sports is a live stream broadcast and media production company providing quality programming designed to attract the golfing enthusiast. And Golf Tips, the game's most in-depth instruction magazine, including reviews on the latest equipment, tips from top teaching professionals, all designed to help you improve from tee to green. Welcome to Golf Talk Live with your host, Ted Odorico. Join Ted each week as he speaks with some of the best in golf. This week's special guest will join us a bit later. But first up is another great discussion on Coach's Corner. So let's introduce tonight's Coach's Corner panel.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to Golf Talk Live, and I'm very excited to have my next guest on the show, Jon Levy. He is the VP of Communications and Senior Partnerships with GolfForever. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, and then we're going to get into tonight's discussion, and I've got lots to talk about, so we're going to try to see if we can unpack everything here in the next little bit. Jon is a longtime communications and marketing professional, leveraging former career as a golf coach and touring professional to grow the first customized at-home golf fitness and wellness system that gives all golfers the same world-class workout plans, recovery programs, and performance coaching as some of the best players in the world. He's been working with GolfForever since day one and has been instrumental in forging key partnerships with the brand's key tour athlete ambassadors. I'm going to tell you a little bit about those in just a moment, but please welcome my very special guest, Jon Levy. Jon, how are you doing?
I'm great, Ted. Yeah, thank you for having me. And it's funny kind of hearing your bio sometimes, but you nailed it. You know, been here since day one and excited to talk about it. Thank you.
Not a problem. As I was just telling you before we came back on, obviously I'm familiar with GolfForever. I've used your product, and I think it's fantastic. And I know you got a lot of exciting things going on right now. But just for those that maybe are not familiar with it out there, there's obviously still people that haven't maybe heard of GolfForever or maybe not familiar with it. Just give us just a little bit of an overview of the company and really what it's all about.
Yeah, it's, and I'm excited to talk about your experience with this, Ted, as well as you said. GolfForever is about movement. And, I was attracted originally to the premise that our founder, Dr. Jeremy James, started the company with world-renowned pain specialist out of Aspen, Colorado. I had originally met him through Justin Leonard, who obviously 12-time winner in the PGA Tour, was living in Aspen at the time, and met Jeremy through a mutual contact for my previous company, Golf Tech. I was head of communications there at the corporate headquarters here in the Denver area, and took the call with Jeremy under the onus of, would there be a potential partnership with Golf Tech? And very soon after, I was enamored by his vision with the business, his mission, basically to create a virtual solution and a virtual program of what he was doing in person. And what he was doing in person was helping people who had sometimes, severely debilitating back pain, other pains in their body, that were limiting them from, doing everything in life and, of course, playing golf. And he had a lot of golfers. And so, this idea to create a program that was based around pain relief, but then there's this whole other performance aspect and element to it. I was, extremely intrigued by that in the very beginning. And so, through some talks with him, we ended up hitting it off from a, conceptual standpoint. And so he brought me in to help manage and grow the golf side of the business. And it was an overall, health and fitness platform with 3 different brands. GolfForever was just one of them, Back Forever and Fit Forever, which Back Forever is a back pain specific protocol. Fit Forever is for 50 and over. And so that was the start of it in 2019. And when I started, it was purely a validation model. Can we make this thing fly? Put out some Facebook ads. The program itself, very sound. It's based on customization of you take a 5 to 10 minute assessment. You self-assess your performance with, as you know,
Yeah.
with some very basic movements. And then from there, it gives you a truly customized and personalized daily program. Every day has a 10 to 15 minute warm up. We call that the fundamentals routine. And then there's a rotational power routine, which is, strength, dynamic rotation, recovery routines, injury prevention. And, each daily workout, call it today's workout, takes about 30 to 45 minutes in total. And, as we've grown since that initial validation model, when we didn't even have the app, just the concept of what Jeremy was trying to do from 2019, now we've developed this app that we've had in the marketplace. And, we have tens of thousands of active subscribers, a 4.9 rating on the App Store, because the program is just that effective. And so, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's been growing. It's amazing because I remember, as you point out, when you sort of first came on the scene, we didn't really notice a lot of golf fitness until we started seeing at the professional level. I mean, everyday golfers. I mean, we look back 30 years ago and you look at the golfers, and I'm not saying this is a criticism, but they were a little more paunchy around the midsection. They were healthy. I'm not suggesting they weren't, but you see, obviously with the onset of people like Tiger, of course, came in and really changed the face of golf. And then you've seen Rory and so many others. And I want to mention this group here because these guys have now become ambassadors. One of the obviously most notable is Scotty Scheffler. We'll get you to talk a little bit about him. Justin Leonard, of course, another great professional. Tom Kim, Zach Johnson, and of course Ryan Palmer. And then you've now got the PGA America's Teacher and Coach of the Year for 2025. Jason Bale has also joined as an ambassador as well. So tell us a little bit. I mean, obviously, I know you don't have time to get into everybody there, but let's talk a little bit maybe about Scotty. Sure. and obviously Justin, and then obviously your new recruit, if you will, Jason. Talk about how you managed to get him excited about it as well.
Yeah, no, great. And it's a great cross section of people right there, right? They're all in different facets, kind of timelines of their careers with the tour players. And then Jason, tremendously talented golf coach and instructor. And yeah, I mean, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, Justin Leonard was part of this business from the very beginning with Jeremy, and, truly believed in the concept, believed in what Jeremy was doing. And so he's been there since the start and an incredible advocate, and obviously now playing and just won recently on PGA Tour Champions. And, he was at that point where he was not playing very much, casually, but really had kind of hung up the sticks and traded him for skis, and everything active in Aspen. And then, when I met him, he was in this time period. He was, I think, 48, and it was getting close to that time where, he started thinking about it, getting that itch back, I believe, from my conversations with him, and then obviously decided to pursue it full time again. And so he's always been, a great advocate and part of the business, and had a tremendous amount of input. Fast forward a couple of years, we started, I think like many startups, we've got this great concept. We start advertising, we've got a lot of big plans. And anyone that, I could have some more stories with you of, what you think success is going to look like, and then what it actually turns out to be, and when it turns out to be. Right. And, so, the initial thought of subscriber growth, really was very challenging in the beginning. And, to your point, you mentioned kind of the general persona of golfers so many years ago, and how that's changed now with the Tigers and the Rorys and the Scotties out there. And, it really was what attracted me to go down this path with Jeremy, because I knew nothing like that existed for the everyday golfer. And the whole point of what we do, it's approachable, and it is, this word gets overused, I think, sometimes in industry, but we truly are disruptive in a way that, we're trying to get this message across that, especially for the aging golfer, you're over 30, 40, 50, 60, you're in the office all the time, you're slumped over your computer, your device, you go straight out to the first tee, and then you wonder why you wake up, your neck hurts, you can't turn to the left or right, and you can't swing a golf club for 2 weeks. It's kind of the common story, and I lived that story.
Yeah.
And so it really was, something personal to me as well. And so just being in golf and around golf my entire career and life, I really felt like, the concept was there for the taking from a business sense, and really, that said, was a very big challenge with the general public. And so, fast forward 2 years, 2021, and gentleman named Pete Holman, and I can't remember if you had him on the show or not, but he's our, we nickname him affectionately the Golf Ninja, and so he's a former U.S. Taekwondo team captain and national champion, and comes from a long background in fitness and physical therapy, and really just a great motivator and coach. And so he came to Jeremy and I at that point, Dr. Jeremy James, our founder, and on Jeremy's request to Pete of saying, we want to make the program more effective. And to do that, Pete, you had developed this concept many years ago that was asymmetrical bar training, which ended up being the GolfForever swing trainer, which I know you and I talked about before we jumped on air. And this concept really turbocharges the effect of building dynamic rotational strength, and in an asymmetrical manner with basically a 44-inch aluminum bar, and we have 2 rubber grips on it, and then there are 2 different resistance band cord options that you affix to an anchor point. And with that, there are so many different planes, vectors, movements that you can do that mimic the golf swing. Some are, basic rotational moves. It's almost limitless. And so, Pete, kind of pitched Jeremy and I, one day, when we were shooting video, and I'll never forget it, because that was the moment that changed our business forever. And, he had this idea to iterate on this concept that he had done previously, and make, a lot of different improvements and elements to it. And then, and you might appreciate this. I got up in the middle of it and I said, Pete, can I grab what you have? And it was the original concept. And I said, and I took a couple swings. I said, I need this in my golf bag. We need to make this make sense for the golf audience. And so from there, we created a swing weighted element to it, where now you can use it as a weighted warm-up club. We were very adamant about being D3, which is, as kind of in the middle of the road of swing weights, but about 2.5, 3 times heavier, and overloaded weighted ball on the end as well. And so kind of all that to say, we created this first of a kind product. And with that, at this point in our evolution, we had Dr. Troy Van Biezen, who has trained, multiple world number ones. He's a content provider for us. He was introduced to me through Zach Johnson, who is a longtime friend of mine, and Troy had worked with Zach. And so, it was great to have Troy as part of the program. And so we were going through the prototype phase of what's now the swing trainer. We said, hey, Troy, would you be interested to use this with some of your players, and some of your tour guys like Scotty and some of the others? And he said, yeah, I think this could be amazing. And so he went and did some programming, and Scotty started using the swing trainer in fall of 2021. He hadn't won on tour at this point. And, he was using it during the off season, and they were doing a lot at home to train. And then Scotty used it at Torrey Pines at the start of 2022. And at this point, we had just pretty much had a soft launch on it. We hadn't hadn't officially announced the PGA show yet, and so right around that time was Torrey Pines, of course, and Scotty used it for the first time as a pre-round warm-up on tour, to warm up, because I think, as the story goes, at that point, I think his knee was bugging him a little bit. This
Right.
was a very safe, effective way for him to warm up. He ended up liking how his swing felt that week. I think he top fived it, and 2 weeks later, his next event was WM Phoenix Open. He wins.
Right.
He's using the swing trainer every day at this point, to warm up. Very regimented, routine oriented player in person, and so continued to use it as he ascended to world number one. And he won 3 out of the next 4 events.
Yeah.
Wins the Masters, and meanwhile he's using this crazy new device from us. And so the conversation for us was very natural with him, and it obviously was spurred on by Dr. Troy Van Biesen originally, and so there was this nice kind of kindred synergy between us and him, and so that's how we originally started with him, and he's been an ambassador since, and continued to get more involved in the business, and been and I'm sure other people say this about Scotty who have worked with him, or have had encounters with him. He's amazing and truly cares, and his whole mission is very similar to ours, where he wants to help people, and he sees us as a vehicle to help do that.
Yeah, he's definitely a very humble individual. I remember when he was interviewed after his Masters win, and just very down to earth, and it definitely comes across that way as somebody that enjoys helping other people, and so yeah, he's a good one for sure. As is Justin and Zach and the others. How did Jason Bale come about? How did that arrangement partnership?
So we got to know Jason over the past, I would say, year and a half, 2 years, and obviously down there at Jupiter Hills Club in Florida, and through someone on our team, Nicole Hage, and had developed a relationship with him, and he was a huge fan of what we were doing, because of as and you talk about it a lot, just the golf instruction, and your golf swing, the center point of that is your body has to move in an effective way to be able to accomplish what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And so Jason is an enormous advocate and believer in that, and puts that, without me speaking for him, my understanding of just how he approaches everything through all our conversations is, that is integral to his approach to coaching and instruction. And, I've heard him say this comment, if you want to swing better, you move beautifully first. And, it really hits home of, just helping the students, the golfer, understand, okay, if we're trying to get here in a golf swing, I got to be able to move my body in that way. And so that was the foundation of that relationship. And, I got to know him over the past year plus. And, we just hit it off, and he seems to be, again, just like Scotty and Zach and Justin and Tom and the others, very, just very aligned with what we're trying to do and what he wants to do, to help people as well.
Yeah, and I think it's important, you want to be able to help golfers, obviously, of all ages. I mean, this has worked very well for players at an elite level like Scotty and some of the others, and obviously high-level coaches like Jason. But the average golfer, and I want to get into, because I know you guys have now got a partnership with the PGA Tour. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I want to get your thoughts on some feedback from some of the everyday golfers. What's been some of the feedback, and especially some of your more, and I'm going to be polite because I'm in that group, more seasoned golfers, shall we say, or more mature golfers, because, there's a lot of fitness stuff out there on the market, not necessarily golf, but in general, that sometimes some of us older guys, might struggle a little bit with, but this is something that really fits well for all ages. Talk about that. What's been some of the feedback that you guys have gotten from some of the older golfers?
Yeah, appreciate you asking. It first of all, the feedback we get is everything. It's the founding mission of Jeremy and why he started this business is to help people. And as Jeremy often says, it's really about your life. It's about everything off the golf course. The golf is a side effect of
Right.
what we do. And and it's interesting how and you use the word fitness, and that is the classification that we are. But in reality, the perception of people around, I don't want to do a fitness program.
Right.
This is going to be too intense for me. I like
Right.
this Peloton, is this CrossFit? What is this? And as you know firsthand, I mean, it couldn't be any more from the truth. It is for someone that needs a gentle program. It is a gentle program. For
Yeah.
someone who is in back pain, it is exactly what they need. As I said in the beginning around Jeremy's background, being a core proficiency of what he does and what we do in the app. And so the feedback we get from our users, from our members, is an incredible amount of gratitude. It's really shocking that again, that golf is a side effect to a lot of these people, because they have more energy, they have more stamina to play, not just 18 holes and they're playing 36 and then they're playing the next day. And we've polled our members, and the number one thing that they want to do is just play more golf.
Sure.
We kind of have that core golfer group, and they just want to play. And we enable people to do that. We give them the tools to enable themselves to do that, really. And so that's a lot of the feedback, Ted, where, it's some people that have been in again, as I said about Jeremy's background, debilitating back pain. And, maybe they're kind of into that 50s, 60s age group, and thinking about longevity in the game and want to be playing when they're 80. And so they see us as a pathway to do that. And, there's also, on the flip side of that, I will say our core user and member is skews over, 45, 50 years old. But we do have a lot of younger golfers as well. And I mentioned, over 30 a few minutes back. There's a lot of these younger golfers, and maybe the COVID generation of they're just getting into the game. But again, they're coming straight from the office, already feeling the pain. And, we're the anti or the answer to, okay, I'm going to take, a couple of Advil and have a couple of beers on the course. That's going to make me feel better. Right.
Yeah,
We're and that's so common, right? I mean, that's golf for a lot of people. And we're trying to dispel that, as the routine, and and really just help people understand this is not intimidating. It's very basic movements, but done in a very correct way. And you are instructed of how to do that. And that is the difference. And the customization and the personalization that each member gets. This program is for their body and nobody else's. And with that, we have well over 100 different tracks that someone can go into, depending on how they fill out the assessment and progress in the program. And so, it's effective for that reason. And again, kind of long-winded way to say, people just seem to have a lot of gratitude just around, and that makes us feel incredible, like we're carrying out our mission, that we're just helping them feel better at the end of the day.
I think for me, how I look at this is, I wouldn't say that golf is a byproduct as much as a benefit, because seeing an improvement. I can remember pre-COVID, there were a lot of older golfers for a number of reasons, but particularly for whether it be health reasons, their fitness level wasn't what it was at one time, and started dropping away from the game because they just, they weren't able to play. Even guys in their 60s, just were not able to play anymore. Yeah. Their scoring wasn't, up to snuff, as it were. And they were starting to play less and less and less. And, they've been to the doctors, they've done this, they've taken the Advils, they've done that, this, that, and the other, and nothing seemed to work. And what you guys are offering really is a great solution because it's very low impact compared to a lot of other things that you see out in the fitness world. And what I mean by that is, you see people going to the gym, and lifting weights, and then they're injuring themselves. Then they're trying to play golf and they injure themselves even further. What you guys are offering really is a very, and I want to give kudos to all of the staff with your group, because they really do go the extra mile with all of the people that are using the program or interested in the program. They don't just say, well, here, we're going to ship you this product, subscribe to it, and you're kind of on your own. Go to our YouTube channel. You can see all the videos you want. They actually get entrenched with you and help guide you into the right program for you. And it's very customized, very tailor-made. And that's important. That speaks volumes. And it brings me to this next, because I guarantee you, without that offer, you wouldn't be where you are with, and it's not just the PGA, but obviously the LPGA and other organizations. We'll talk about them as well. But now you've become the official golf fitness system for the PGA Tour. You don't get in that corner unless you've got something. It's not just a matter of having a nice looking product and it works okay. You've got a system that you're bringing to the table that they see and have recognized as going to be a benefit to others on the tour, and obviously supporting the tour. So tell a little bit about that. How that obviously has got to be very good feeling for you guys.
Yeah, again, kind of going back to the origin of this company and this business. And I'm so fortunate to have met Jeremy in the beginning and been part of this journey of ours. Never would have dreamed, that here we are, and all of a sudden now, it seems like, and I've been in a number of events and been in the training facilities, and so many of those guys are using our products.
Yeah.
And it's just become a part of their training routines. And a lot of them, and maybe there's some influence there, if you see someone like Scotty become world number one,
Right.
You're going to follow what that guy's doing.
Of course.
All right, if that's the secret sauce, okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah. And, but more than that, again, as a lot of these guys have, their own physios and their own routines on tour weeks, it's really just become a staple out there. And again, the whole premise of, and you mentioned in the very beginning, back and a lot of people say, Tiger started this whole generation of, guys working out and girls working out to play professional golf and college golf, and it goes down the line. And it's really come a long way. And I think our partnership with the tour is the personification of that, and a recognition of that. And again, just a partnership that makes sense, because of this is not something foreign to the tour and the players. It's so natural, and we're bringing awareness to that. And so it's been a really cool journey with them. Getting to know a lot of the people behind the scenes at the PGA Tour. It's just the players a couple weeks back, and it's quite an operation they have, and for us to be part of that is incredible.
Yeah, it's definitely something that is more than just a feather in your cap. I mean, to get into that position with the PGA Tour, because again, they don't just open the doors nonchalant. I mean, they are very diligent in what they look for to partner with any sort of relationship. I mean, they're a big organization. They've been around for many, many years, and so to get that door open, again, and I just want to add something real funny, interesting that you said when you mentioned about a lot of the other tour players, seeing Scotty and others that have had success. These guys all compete against one another once they get out on the first tee, but behind the scenes, a lot of them are friends. A lot of them joke around that, and if you think that in any event that they're not looking in, or especially on the range, they're not looking in one another's bag, or they're not seeing what the other guys are doing, that's giving them an advantage, or they're going to follow suit. So it's great that you guys have got some people that as great ambassadors from not just the playing side but also the teaching side now as well, that can get out and help other golfers. So I think it's just great what you guys are doing. Obviously the ladies, I mean, we've seen a big explosion over the last several years with the LPGAs as well, with a lot of these young girls coming up on the Epson Tour and onto the full LPGA. I got to be careful what I say, because I don't want to offend the ladies out there, but they were kind of the same as the guys 30 years ago. I mean, the ladies always look great, but they weren't in the same shape as what you're seeing now. These young girls are coming out there and they've got their fitness regime. So, I can see that being, another notch, if you will, in GolfForever's belt, and getting the LPGA players excited about doing that as well. You're also partnering with Folds of Honor and obviously the Veteran Golfers Association. Tell us a little bit about those partnerships.
Yeah, two incredible groups. A little bit different by nature, but really,
Sure.
really, again, all about helping people. And we want to always partner and associate ourselves with the groups that feel and act and strive to do the same thing ultimately that we are. And I've said this, and our team says this a lot, that we will never just slap a logo on somebody or just do something for an appearance sake. We're not selling widgets. We're selling health,
Right.
and
Exactly.
there's a true benefit. And the people that, and the people and the groups that we associate with, we want that to be very similar to ours. And when you look at VGA and you look at Folds, two amazing organizations there.
Right.
And there's a lot of affinity on our team. I mean, and Jeremy used to, basically give, free treatment to any active military or veterans himself in his practice. As busy as he was, and as blocked out for many months, and people flying in all across the world to see him, he had never wavered on that. As always was important to him. I hold similar values, and our team does. And, I think it just speaks to whoever and whatever we associate with. We want it to be very, very foundational to our mission, our beliefs, and where we want to go in business.
Yeah, and it does. It speaks a lot about your organization, because obviously every business has to, has to earn money and has to generate revenue, and people understand that. But you also have to have a certain core value of wanting to help your community, and community being not just the golfers, but community in general. And Jeremy, I've interviewed. In fact, I think he was the first one that I interviewed from GolfForever on the show. And yeah, it was just a great guy. I had a great conversation with him, and it was very apparent that this was not just about having a product or a model, if you will, and promoting it. I mean, obviously that's part of the marketing and so forth. But it was really, you could really sense the passion in what he said of what he was trying to do, because he recognized, I mean, doing the business that he saw, has worked in for so many years, he sees a lot of these people that are coming into his office. He's recognizing some of the issues that they're faced with. And now he's got, something else that he can put in the mix and say, okay, here, I think if you do this, 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 and this, and we've got a great program with attached to a great product that's going to help you with a lot of these core areas. And, oh, you're a golfer? Great. You're going to see some great benefits here as well. And that's what people are looking for. People want honesty. They want a company that is really looking out for their best interest. They're not just, one and done where, hey, thanks very much. And, when the upgrade comes in, we'll get you that one too. But, they're looking for that type of a commitment where and then companies, like you said, like Folds and the VGA, those are great organizations. That's another great way to give back to a community that has given so much and sacrificed so much, for this country and so forth. So I'm really excited that you guys are working with them. What I wanted to ask you as well is, you've got some other great physical trainers as well that are working with you guys. And if I'm saying anything incorrectly, is it Andrea Dadato, is that correct? Did I say that correctly?
Dadato, yep, yep,
Okay,
yep.
and then there's obviously Sheldon Roberts and Scott Shepard. Tell us about them as well, how that sort of came about, and what role they're playing with GolfForever.
Yeah, Andrea, Sheldon, and Scott, amazing, amazing individuals. I will say before I talk about each of them, the cool thing for me being around, we talked about Pete Holman, we talked about Dr. Troy,
Yeah.
but the cool thing about being around these people is you feel better after, not just physically, but you feel better, you feel motivated after
Right.
being around them because they are motivators, they're coaches, and that is just how they wake up every day. That is what makes them tick. And when you look at someone like Andrea, who has trained so many players on LPGA for so many years, Sheldon, who is out in the LA area, and who is really bright young guy, and he's a golf nut, and so this to him is like his dream, right? And he really wants to help people, and you can see that, you can see his passion come out in the videos. And then Scott, over in Orlando area, he again has had a lot of experience around tour players, LPGA, college teams, juniors. Works at Mike Bender Academy and has for many years, as well as some other on his own. And they each have their own distinct styles, and I think that's what you'll see in the GolfForever program is each of our trainers, they have their way of engaging with the audience. And you hit the nail on the head a few minutes back, saying we're right in the soup with you.
Yeah.
And
right.
we're trying to and it's an active strategy as a business. We're trying to actively connect with the person on the other end, on their phone or streaming it to their TV, because we want them to stay engaged and really get this and feel better and continue to do this, because we know it's going to help them. And so, that is this whole point around bringing in very, very talented, experienced trainers, physical therapists, Dr. Jeremy James, chiropractor by trade, Dr. Troy Van Biesen, same thing. And but the knowledge, the expertise, the athletes that all of these people, individuals have worked with is all, almost second to none. And so, you're not getting someone who on the other end of that video is inexperienced, or, not coming from a place of, very, very strong execution and efficiency, and purpose for what we were trying to help that person do.
Yeah, and it's important too. Again, for the for the end users, if you will, of the trainer, and also with the programs that are being offered, it's important that they see that there is a very high level of instruction and development for them, because again, and I'm not trying to, criticize other things on the market. And I'm not talking even about the golf business, but just in fitness in general. When you look at a lot of the other programs, they're very hyper focused on a very condensed demographic, meaning, that 20 to maybe 35 demographic, as many industries have, it's high powered, high energy training, and that most people, especially I'm sick. I just turned 61 a few weeks ago. So I'm not in that, demographic anymore. I mean, I'm pretty good shape, but I can't, keep it up with a 20-year-old, as I used to. I try, but I can't. And, so when they look at that, and you get some of your more mature golfers out there, and they're looking at some of the other options, there really isn't a lot of other options out there, because it's either too high impact, too high level. And a lot of them got out of golf because, for other reasons too, but a lot of them got out is because they just couldn't do it anymore. Or they were unhappy with the results that they were getting. And along comes you guys and said, "Hey, we feel your pain, literally, and we're going to do something about it."
Yep.
And you guys have literally rolled out the red carpet and you've just really slid into an area of golf that was not there. There really was nobody that was. It was a void, I guess, is the best way to put it. And I just think you guys have done a great job, and your team is growing. You're reaching into other areas of, obviously not just golf, but other areas as well. Yeah, again with Folds and the VGA and that, where you're expanding out and you're reaching out into the communities to be able to say, we're here, we've got something that can literally help you. And again, you've attached yourself to golf for obvious reasons, but it's not really just exclusive. I mean, even if you don't play golf, you can still get the swing trainer and still reap all kinds of benefits. And who knows, maybe you'll take up golf as a result of it. So you're tapping into so many great markets with what you guys are doing, and you're bringing a lot of world-class people into the fold. So congratulations on that.
Well, thank you, Ted. Yeah, you're very eloquent in saying that, and I appreciate, and we appreciate it as a business. And I'm going to steal that tagline. I'm writing that down. We feel your pain literally. That's fantastic.
Well, I think it's there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, I think that humans are very interesting. I'm a visual person, and I watch people. I watch their body language, and I look and if people feel that you're being genuine with them, they're very receptive to whatever your message might be. If they don't feel it, if they feel like they're kind of just getting the wool pulled over their eye, and they're not really seeing it, yeah, sure, you're going to get people that are going to, okay, let me try it out and that. But to really get a long-term commitment from people, they have to feel that you really you get them, in other words. And when people understand and get that feeling that you do get them and understand what it is they're dealing with, and you've got a solution to help them, that's a lot to, that's a pretty big, as I said, feather in your cap to have, because that's not something that everybody can do. And not just in your side of the business, but in golf, even with instruction. There's a lot of great instructors out there, but there's some really, really good ones. And the really, really good ones are the ones that really get what it is that they need to do to help people to become better. It's, it's not just a numbers game. It's a matter of actually giving the helping people to see real-time results. And you guys have married the two together. And on behalf of the golf business, we thank you for that. So any final thoughts in closing as we get ready to wrap up? And then I'll give you an opportunity to give the folks the website and so forth where they can go to get more information. But any final thoughts that you want to say before we sign off?
Yeah. No, I appreciate it, Ted. Yeah. I would tell anyone listening and watching out there that, to your point, we really do try to connect with every person at where they're at, not where we're at, not trying to, kind of yell at them through a bullhorn type of thing. This can be and is, very effective in a way that, again, it can be gentle. We have intense programs, we have everything in between. But it really is, as I said in the very first few minutes, based around movement. We help people move better because ultimately golf should feel great, and for a lot of people it doesn't. And so, that is our goal as a business. We try to empower people with those tools and the education so they can play golf forever, hence the name of the business.
I couldn't agree more, and well said, and a great way to end this segment. Jon, I want to thank you very much for coming on and being my special guest tonight, and sharing not just your knowledge of what it is that you do, but just really helping people to understand that you do get their story, you do understand what they're looking for, and that you guys are actually answering the call. And I want to thank you for sharing that with the audience. What's the best way if people want to get more information or want to become involved with GolfForever? Where can they go?
Thank you. I appreciate it, Ted. Just go to golfforever.com, or you can download the app directly in the App Store or Google Play. Perfect.
All right. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Thanks again to my very special guest from GolfForever, Jon Levy. And also a special thank you to the guys in the Coaches Corner panel, Jon Decker and Brian Dobby, and also to my good friend, golf certified fitness instructor, Bob Foreman. I want to thank everybody for tuning in this week. I'll have everything sent up to the YouTube channels very shortly. But on that note, we'll see you. Keep swinging out there, keep doing your stuff, and make sure you go to the website, golfforever.com. It's well worth it to check it out. Thanks. God bless everybody, and have a great weekend.
Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this week's broadcast of Golf Talk Live. We'd like to thank this week's Coach's Corner panel, and a special thank you to tonight's guest. Remember to join Ted every Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. Central on Golf Talk Live. And be sure to follow Ted on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you're interested in being a guest on Golf Talk Live, send Ted an email at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.